Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a fantasy movie review and I'll be having a look at The Barbarians, also known as The Barbarian Brothers. So this is a 1987 fantasy flick that obviously came off the back of the success of Conan, and we had a few of these kind of fantasy films, some of which I reviewed on my channel. Now when I was younger, this one was actually one of the few films that are actually rated 18, and I was always under the impression that this one might be a particularly violent or gory or adult themed one. And when I eventually did get to see it, it really isn't. In fact, this is possibly one of the most campy films out of this sort of genre that I've actually seen. The story here, we have a kind of a prologue at the beginning, and we see this sort of travelling band of kind of entertainers, jesters, that sort of thing. And they've picked up these two young brothers who are kind of orphans, and they're sort of travelling with them. And there's this kind of evil warlord played by Richard Lynch who decides that, you know, he wants the power of this sort of tribe for himself, which is in the form of this kind of magic gem that kind of this leader, Canary, actually has. And she sort of hides it away before the bad guys get sort of chance to get it. And pretty much all of this sort of tribe are either exiled, killed, or put into slavery. And these two brothers, these two young brothers, are sort of put into slavery, and we see them a little bit later on as they sort of grown up into men. And these two sort of hulking brutes, ultimately the Barbarian brothers. Now these guys are real life brothers, and they have done a few films, and they're kind of the USP of this film is you have two barbarians for the price of one. And yes, these guys are extremely big. However, they kind of act more like football outs than anything else. Eventually the brothers escape and decide that they're going to want revenge of this evil warlord and these kind of minions, including Michael Berryman and a cackling evil sorceress, and also try and rescue their sort of princess, this Canary, who's sort of been held captive all of this time. Amusingly, no one else seems to have aged at all apart from the brothers. Now they kind of team up with a kind of warrior woman played by Eva LaRue, who you may know from CSI Miami fame. And basically the idea here is they want to try and retrieve some magical weapons and then defeat a dragon to get the gem and defeat the bad guys. So like I said, this film is one of the most campy films that I've seen. The brothers act in a very sort of contemporary way. It's not taken seriously at all. And there's actually not all that much violence in this film. Considering when I was younger, this film was one of the few fantasy films that was kind of rated 18. I was always expecting it to be that much brutal, and it really isn't. There's not a lot of fighting actually in this film. And when there is fighting, it's very kind of low tech. There's not a lot in regards to sort of special effects and gore and things like that. And the action choreography is very, very basic. And that's the thing, this film is obviously a low budget film. They scene when they kind of fight this dragon. The dragon is obviously just a mechanical crane with kind of a dragon head stuck on the end of it. And it's actually quite laughable. And the humour is actually sometimes quite funny in this film. Like I've mentioned, the brothers are actually these kind of bickering pair of football louts that you can imagine. And some of their kind of lines are quite funny, but a lot of the humour is actually unintentional. Now this film is actually a little bit of fun, as I kind of like try to sort of explain. However, it's fairly forgettable as well. There's nothing in this film I think that kind of makes it stand out above any of its sort of contemporaries. Although it is a bit of fun, I don't think it's certainly a necessary watch. So I'm going to give this film a 4.5 out of 10. It's probably below average for this kind of film, but not as worse as some of the ones I've seen here. 4.5, what did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.